Welcome to a new deep dive. Today we're looking at a really fascinating book, one that's changed how a lot of people view finance. Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money. And this isn't your standard guide to, picking stocks or budgeting. Housel's whole point is that how we do with money often has less to do with how smart we are and way more to do with our behavior, our quirks, biases, all that human stuff.
Exactly. So our mission today is really to unpack that. We'll use Housel's stories and insights to explore these often hidden drivers of financial success. It's about looking at money differently, maybe challenging some old ideas.
Okay, so let's dive right into that core idea. Housel says, basically, that being good with money isn't about having some genius-level IQ. It's more about being, well, reasonable, consistently reasonable, which sounds simple, right? But think about it. You've probably seen this. Two people, same kind of job, same salary, maybe even similar education. One ends up wealthy, the other not so much. Always seems to be struggling. So what gives, Housel argues, it boils down to those everyday decisions, the ones driven more by emotion or habit than, say, a spreadsheet.
Yeah, and he gives this great example. Imagine two friends, Alex and Ben. Both make, let's say, $80,000 a year. Pretty good income.
Okay.
Alex, he's got the new BMW lease, lives in that trendy downtown apartment, eats out all the time, looks successful, right?
Looks the part, yeah.
And then there's Ben. Drives an older, used Honda, rents a smaller place, maybe packs his lunch most days.
Doesn't sound as flashy.
Not at all. But here's the thing, Housel points out. Alex looks rich, but Ben is the one actually building wealth. It's not about the math. Anyone can see the $80 the same. It's about Ben's self-control, resisting that urge to keep up appearances.
So it really hammers home that point. Is being good with money about IQ, or is it at behavior? Housel comes down hard on the side of behavior.
Absolutely. It's about managing your own psychology, your impulses, which is often harder than understanding finance theory, actually.
That makes sense. It's one thing to know you should save, another thing entirely to resist buying the shiny new thing right now.
Especially when society is constantly telling you to spend to show off.
Okay, so moving on from just behavior, Housel also talks a lot about luck and risk and how maybe we're not always comfortable admitting the role they play.
Yeah, that's a big one.
We love to look at people like, Elon Musk or Warren Buffett and think, wow, pure genius, pure hard work. And obviously skill is involved, huge amounts of it.
Sure, immense skill.
But Housel introduces this twist. Maybe a significant chunk of that success wasn't just skill. Maybe it was also luck. Being in the right place, right time, meeting the right person, catching a market wave just perfectly.
And that's tough for us to swallow sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
We like clear narratives of cause and effect. Skill leads to success.
Right.
But the reality, as Housel shows, is messier. You could do everything right. Save diligently, invest smartly, work your tail off.
Check all the boxes.
Exactly. And still get hit by bad luck. A sudden illness, a layoff right before your options vest, a market crash, just as you need the money.
So how should we think about that if outcomes aren't purely based on our actions?
Well, Housel suggests focusing less on the specific outcome, which you can't fully control, and more on your process. Are your decisions reasonable? Are they repeatable? Can you stick with your strategy even when things get rough? That's what you can control.
That's a really useful distinction. So be humble if you succeed, because luck probably helped. And maybe be a bit more understanding if someone else is struggling, because bad luck might be a big factor.
Precisely. Think about startups. Two launch basically the same thing. One gets a random shout out from a celebrity, goes viral, massive success.
Yeah.
The other, maybe even with slightly better service, just fizzles out. Was the first founder that much smarter? Or did the stars just align differently for them?
It's a good reminder to focus on our own game, our own process, not just the scoreboard. Okay, this next point from the book is one of my absolute favorites. It's kind of a mic drop moment. Housel says, spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money.
Oof. Yeah. That one stings a little because it's so true.
It really is.
And what's fascinating, he argues, is that real wealth, the kind that gives you freedom and options, it's often invisible.
Invisible? How so?
It's the money you didn't spend on the fancy car. It's the investments you made instead of buying the bigger house. It's the quiet millionaire next door, driving a 10-year-old Toyota, living modestly but consistently putting money away.
Saying no to that lifestyle inflation.
Exactly. Resisting the urge to upgrade everything just because your income went up.
Yeah.
That gap between what you earn and what you spend, that's where wealth is built. In the stuff people don't see.
Let's go back to Alex and Ben. Alex looks wealthy with the BMW and the condo.
Performing wealth.
Right, performing it. But is he investing? Maybe not much.
Yeah.
Yeah, car is losing value every day.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Ben, our invisible saver, he's quietly building actual assets month after month.
That's the real power. The money you save, the investments you make that aren't flashy, that's what buys you freedom, options, control over your time.
So next time you feel that pull, to get the latest phone, the fancier car, the designer clothes, just to signal success, Housel's advice is basically to stop and ask, am I building real wealth here?
Or am I just putting on a show? A very expensive show, usually.
A show for people who probably aren't paying as much attention as we think anyway.
So true.
Okay, let's talk about time. This is another huge, maybe underrated theme in the book. The incredible power of just being patient.
Yes, compounding. We all sort of know the word.
We hear it all the time.
Yeah.
But the example Housel uses with Warren Buffett is just staggering. As you know, something like 90%, maybe even more, of his wealth was earned after his 60th birthday.
It's incredible. And it wasn't because he suddenly got way smarter or found some magic formula in his 60s.
Right. It wasn't some late-breaking discovery.
No. It was because he started investing super young and then just stayed invested for decade after decade after decade. He let compounding do its thing without getting in the way.
Like that snowball analogy, right?
Exactly. Housel paints that picture really well. At first, the snowball is small, it rolls slowly, doesn't seem like much is happening.
Kind of discouraging, maybe?
It can be, but if you just let it keep rolling down that long hill, it picks up more snow, gets bigger, faster, and eventually becomes this enormous force, exponential growth. The key is simply not stopping the snowball.
And yet so many of us do interrupt it, don't we? We try to time the market, jump in and out.
Chase the hot stock, panic sell when things dip.
Pull out our savings for, I don't know, a kitchen remodel when maybe we shouldn't.
All those interruptions break the compounding magic. Housel's point is that real substantial wealth isn't built in a few years. It takes decades.
And the really empowering part of that is you don't need a massive income to make it work for you.
Not at all. You just need time and consistency. Starting early helps immensely, of course, but even starting later, just being consistent and patient makes a huge difference over the long haul.
It's less about financial wizardry and more about discipline and, well, just letting time pass.
Letting time be your ally.
Okay, now for maybe the most philosophical point, but also incredibly practical, figuring out when you have enough.
Ah, yes. The moving goalposts, probably.
Exactly. We live in a culture that's constantly yelling, more money, more status, more stuff. And Housel warns, pretty starkly actually, that if you don't consciously define what enough looks like for you, you'll basically feel poor forever, no matter how much money you actually make or have.
It's a trap, because there's always someone with more. If your benchmark is always just more than I have now, you'll never arrive.
He tells a story based on real life, I think, about this young tech guy.
Oh yeah, the entrepreneur. Sells his company for millions.
Right. Instant success. So what does he do? Penthouse, designer, everything, fancy watches, the works.
Living the dream, supposedly.
Supposedly. But then, just a few years later, he's miserable, burnt out, working insane hours again, chasing the next billion-dollar idea.
Why? Because he never stopped to define what was actually enough for him. He hit a huge goal, but because he hadn't defined enough, the goalpost just instantly shifted further away.
So having enough isn't about being lazy or lacking ambition. Housel frames it as the ultimate form of freedom.
Yeah, it's about getting off the hamster wheel. Making choices because you want to, not because you feel this desperate need for more. Making decisions from a place of contentment.
So the challenge Housel leaves you with, is to really think about that. What does enough mean in your life? What's the point where you can say, okay, I have what I need to live the life I want?
It's a deeply personal question, and there's no single right answer, but asking it is crucial.
All right, so that was a lot to unpack from the psychology of money.
Hi.
Let's try to quickly recap the big takeaways.
Okay.
1, being good with money. It's much more about your behavior, your habits, than raw intelligence.
All right. Psychology over spreadsheets, basically.
2, luck and risk. They play a much bigger part in how things turn out than we often like to think. Need some humility there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Focus on your process, not just the outcome.
3, real wealth is often invisible. It's the money you don't spend, the assets you quietly build.
Forget keeping up with the Joneses. They're probably broke anyway.
Probably. 4, time. Time is your greatest financial superpower. Let compounding do its slow, steady, powerful work.
Patience is key. Don't interrupt the snowball.
And number 5, maybe the most important, Define your enough. Seriously, think about it. Otherwise, you'll likely chase more forever and never feel truly wealthy.
It's about contentment and control, not just accumulation.
So this book, as you said earlier, it's not really a step-by-step investment guide.
No, not at all. It's more like a mirror.
Right.
It helps us see our own relationship with money, our own biases and behaviors more clearly.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, Housel really reframes wealth. It's not just about the number in your bank account.
No, it's about having control. Control over your time, control over your decisions, having options, building a future you actually want. That's real wealth.
So a final thought to leave you with, drawing from Housel. Remember that money is just a tool. It's not the end goal itself. Think about what you want that tool to do for you.
What kind of life do you want it to enable?
Exactly. Keep learning, keep thinking about this stuff, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.